Hey everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at what's under the hood in a couple of tank control units, just to make it less mysterious and show you what's actually going on. Okay, first up, the RX-18. This is an older RX-18 that I know they've got a different design. They've probably got bits that stick out here, but basically it's all the same. Okay, for the RX-18, what the cheaper boards do is they tend to use individual FET setups for motor control. The FETs are set up in what we call a H-bridge to control the motors, and the cheaper units will use individual FETs rather than all these into a single control IC, which are a little bit more expensive. So yeah, they're the motor control FETs on your RX-18 board. Also here, this is your main processor unit, this big block here. These your sound chip, so your sounds on chips that look like this, and this here is your audio amplifier IC. Okay, so that's your RX-18 board. Moving on up to the Taipan board, again you see here similar situation, but the FETs situated up along here, so individual FETs in the H-bridge to drive your motors. Advantage, it's cheap. Okay, you'll notice here that I've taken off this is the transmitter board that normally would sit here. I've popped that off just so that we could develop the RC2TG board. So that's your transmitter chip. It's an A7105 chip that just sits there. Okay, also on your Taipan board, here is your sound module. As you can see, it's not anything like you have on your L-mod or stuff, and it's identical to the the RX-18. They're not different sounds. They're not better sounds. They're the same sounds, just a 4-ohm speaker. So well done to Taipan for pulling the wool over your eyes and making you think that their better sounds are coming out of this unit. Here is, again, same audio amplification system. You've got a LM386, I think it is, chip. It's exactly the same as on the RX-18, but it is in surface mount form here. Okay, so that's your audio amp chip there. Nothing more else of a feature there on your Taipan boards. We'll put him away. Move on up to more expensive boards, say the L-mod Eco board. Now, of course, there's no sound on this. The soundboard is something separate. So from here on in, we won't be talking too much about the soundboards. But what we will have a look at here is the motor control chips is what we were mainly looking after. Okay, here, L-mod, both L-mod and Taipan use an STI. It's a VNH3SP30 motor driver. That's a technical ID number, but basically it's a 20 pin, I think it's 20 or 30 pin, I forget, but anyway, lots of pins, but it provides a whopping 30 amps of power to each motor. Okay, can supply 30 amps of power to each motor. Basically for tank control, it's a no-brainer. If you were looking through all the available types of motor control chip, you would certainly choose this chip. It is easy to use, relatively cheap, but certainly more expensive than the individual FETs, and just an all-round great controller. So it's no surprise that it's on the L-mod Eco and it's also on Taipan. So you can see there, exact same chips running your motors. Running the turret and the elevation motor, as opposed to the other two cheaper boards, you don't have proportional control over your turret and elevation. To have proportional control, again, you need to set up another H-bridge type situation, or use a motor control chip. This chip here used on the L-mod Eco is an L293 chip, okay, and that looks after your motor, your turret motor and your elevation motor. It's in the old dip format there. On Taipan, the exact same chip, situated here, but in the newer SMD format, which I think too provides a bit better performance than that chip, believe it or not, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so again, The main three motor driver chips on the L-Mod Eco are identical on the Taipan 2014. The main reason for that is because these are just like the standard motor control chips. They're very good, they're very reliable, very easy to obtain, almost industry standard as far as motor control goes, and that's why they're on these boards. Looking more at your L-Mod Eco here, if you're interested, there's that big 1000 UF capacitor sitting there to provide, filtering and so forth. There is your microprocessor. Okay, and that microprocessor on the Taipan is situated here. Okay, so they've just got one main microprocessor. This IC down here is, I think it's ULN 2004A, which is just a transistor array. It's involved in switching things on and off and so forth. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to your L-Mod Eco. We've got a fuse up here, and basically your connectors and so forth. Okay, so that's your L-Mod Eco. And then moving up to Taipan, as I said before, exact same chips, the good old VNH3SP30s. Two of them there, 30 amps per motor. And your L293 service mount chip there for your turret and your elevation. Okay, so that's what's under the hood, driving your motor controllers. So let's see how they go in the next couple of videos. Thank you.